not too many people know what I'm about to say. Israel is different than all the countries in the world. All countries in the world are the countries of their citizens, meaning America is the country of the American citizens. Italy is the country of the Italian citizens, France the country of the French citizens. If you're here and you're not a citizen, you can have certain rights, but America is not really your country, right? Nationality and citizenship the concepts are basically the same thing, or they're a total overlay on a Venn diagram. An American means America's your country. Because you're an American citizen, you are an American national, okay? Your ethnicity is a different story. Israel is different. Israel doesn't really exist except as a legal fiction by Israeli law. This is vital for people to know. According to Israeli law, there is no Israeli nationality. There is Israeli citizenship, but there is no Israeli nationality. According to Israeli law, there is only a Jewish nationality. What I mentioned previously, that the goal of Zionism was to change Judaism from a religion to a nationality. It was the state of Israel did not create a new Israeli nationality, a new Israeli nation. It is the nation state of the Jewish nationality by Israeli law. So that means, number one, there does not exist an Israeli nationality. There are Israeli citizens. But number two, whereas Israel could have been the state of its citizens by Israeli law, the nation state law, only Jews have rights to self-determination in Israel, in the state of Israel, not because Jews are superior to non-Jews. That's a mistake. If Israel would be the country of all its citizens, just some are superior and some are inferior by virtue of their being Jews, then that would be correct. But Israel, the country Israel, was designed as the country of a certain nationality, the country of the Jewish nationality, whether you are a citizen of Israel or not. There is no other country like that. The problem is not Jewish supremacy. The problem is the citizenship structure and the nationality structure of the state of Israel. If you are a non-Jew, whether you're white or you're Arabic, doesn't make a difference. You're Christian, you're Buddhist. If you're not a Jew, you are a citizen of Israel and you are afforded whatever civil rights citizens are afforded. But Israel's not your country. That means you have no self-determination rights collectively in Israel. Just as in America, if you are an illegal alien, you're not an American. You could have rights over here, right? But America is not your country because America is the country of its citizens, its interests. It was created for the interests of its citizens. Israel was not created for the interests of Israeli citizens. It was created for the interests of the Jewish nationality. Israel is a doing business name. Forget the word Israel. Israel does not exist. There is no nationality Israel. Israel exists as a legal fiction. There is some country called Israel, but really, more accurately, it should be called the Jewish state, or more than that, the state of the Jewish nationality. Now, this means, as I just said, that if you are a citizen of Israel, but you are not Jewish, Israel's not your country. In the words of Netanyahu and Avigdor Lieberman, Danny Ayalon, this is how the Zionists put it. Israel is to the Jews what Japan is to the Japanese and France is to the French. And you could be a citizen of Israel, but so, for example, if the citizens of Israel who are non-Jews would one day become a majority and they would be running the country, that would be a problem. Israel would conceivably be legally allowed to take measures to make sure that never happens. Because Israel's the country of the Jews, imagine if illegal aliens in America, people who are not Americans by law, would one day take control over America. Well, we can't have that. America's the country of its citizens. You can't steal America from the Americans, although we give you rights. So too, non-Jews can't steal the Jewish state from the Jews. It belongs to the Jews. Now, whereas anybody can become naturalized an American citizen, how do you become a Jew? You see, if I move to Italy and I imbibe in Italian culture and speak Italian language and fly the Italian flag and sing opera music or whatever, Italian culture is, after 1,000 years, my children's children, they're regular Italians. In Israel, if you're not Jewish, you could be the biggest Zionist, like the Jews, for example, who are total Zionists. You could be a total Zionist. You could fight in the Israeli army. You could be a Supreme Court justice. Yes, certainly, the individuals have such rights. But Israel will never be your country because you will never be a Jew, even after 1,000 years. And therefore, Israel would have a right to make sure that the demographic threat, which is how they call it, of non-Jews outpopulating the Jews should never take place, which is why they don't annex Gaza and the West Bank the way America did to Mexico when it became Texas, for example. And you take the Mexicans and now they're Americans. That Israel can't do that, not because of Jewish supremacy per se, but because the country is the country of the Jews, not the country of the Israelis. Now, therein lies the secret of Zionism and the secret to dismantling Zionism. It's very simple. If Israel would be the country of its citizens and not the country of this nationality, which, by the way, does not exist. There's no such thing as a Jewish nationality. Israel invented it. It's a fabrication. I'm an American national. My family's from Poland. What in the world do I have to do with some country? Even if somebody wants to claim that the Jews are a nationality, which they're not, they have no national characteristics, why is Israel my country? See, Israel claims to be the nation state of all Jews, including Jews that don't live there. Israel has laws that give preferential treatment to Jews outside of Israel, in the sense that, in theory, if there's somebody that harms a Jew outside of Israel, they are subject to Israel's penal system, in theory. That's Israeli law. Because Israel has responsibility. Again, this is their fantasies, but this is the way their law works. They're living in a bubble. They created a delusion of a Jewish nationality, and B, Israel being the state of that nationality. Everybody else are foreigners. Even citizens are foreigners, because whereas America, if you're an American citizen, you're not a foreigner by virtue of your citizenship. In Israel, if you're not this nationality, you're a foreigner in Israel. In other words, Zionists in America don't believe in Jewish supremacy. They don't believe that Jews in America should have more rights than non-Jews in America, the way, let's say, white supremacists believe that they are inherently superior to people who are not whites, no matter what country you're living in. It has to do with your race. But these Zionists, all of this supremacy that people are showing you, only applies in Israel, which is a strange thing for a supremacist movement. In order to be naturalized into the Jewish nationality, which they don't believe being Jew is a religion, right? You need to convert go through a religious conversion. That's the only way to become naturalized into the Jewish nationality, even though it's not a religion. It's a weird thing. And there was a Supreme Court case in Israel. Daniel Refusion. This was the opposite case. Daniel Refusion was born Jewish and he converted into Christianity. And he wanted to come to Israel based on the law of return because his nationality is Jewish. On Israel's identification cards for the registry, for the census, there's nationality, Jewish, and then there's religion as a different category. The reason it's so confusing is because Zionism never made sense. It invented a Jewish nation, number one. Number two, it's the only country in the world that claims that it is the country. It represents people who are citizens of other countries, such as myself. And Netanyahu came here to America when he spoke to Congress under Obama, and he said he represents not only the people that voted for him, but all the Jews all over the world. What kind of foreign head of state says he represents citizens of another state? There is no such thing. So they invented this Jewish nationality. They invented this type of country that's the country of the nationality, not of its citizens. And then third, the relationship between Jews and Israel is different than the relationship between regular countries and the people of those countries, whether citizens or nationals. About 20, 30 years ago, the Zionists started something that they call identity Zionism. Being a Jew is being a Zionist, such that if you're against Zionism, you are by definition an anti-Semite. And Netanyahu wrote in his book, Among the Family of Nations, it's called, something like that, that anti-Zionist, if you say I'm anti-Zionist, I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm just anti-Zionist, it's the same as saying I'm not anti-American, I just think America shouldn't exist. Because Israel is to the Jews what Japan is to the Japanese. What's wrong is this Zionism. It's not Jewish supremacy per se, not at all. It's Zionism that twists the relationship between a person and his nationality, between a person and his country, and between the country of Israel and the Jewish people and the country of Israel and its citizens.